provide is true and accurate?
Yes.
Please state and spell your name and provide your address for the record.
Doug Phillips, DOUGPHILLIPS, 14763 Erickson Ranch Road, Piedmont, South Dakota, 57769.
Thank you. And Mr. Phillips, the property that we're talking about today, can you see that on your screen there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and is that Dickinson County?
Yes.
All
the
right.
south side of the highway. On the south side of the property is Clay County.
Sorry, say that again.
On the south side of the road is Clay County. On the south side of the property, which is see the house, and the road comes off the pavement, and then there's a road that goes east and west. Oh, there's from the house set up that on the south side of that property, right there. Oops. Go off. Right there, that is a dividing line at Clay County, Dickinson County.
Okay, but the parcel that we're speaking about is just north of the road, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure we're all on the same page. Thank you. Now, we have referred to that parcel as H-DI-042. I assume you have a different way of referring to it?
Just my general property.
Okay. Can you describe the current use of the property and any plans you may have for a different use?
Well, when I bought the property, when it was paid for, it was going to be developed into my homestead. And it is being farmed by my tenant, Levi Larson. And where they decide to go through my property as a pasture, that was, when I bought the property, I could not even till it to plant grass seed. The owner prior to that had about 80 sheep on it, and it was like bare pavement when I purchased the property. With fertilization and stuff, I got the grass to come back, but it is a highly erodible area according to the MSA office. I still plan on building a house there someday, but this kind of limits me. I'm not going to put a house on top of a property with a pipeline that could kill you if it erupted.
Okay, so for your plans for the future, you haven't taken any steps to fulfill that plan as of yet?
No, but I purchased the ground 20 years ago, and for that whole reason.
So we're going to work through a general description of that property. Can you describe the buildings or structures that are on that property now?
Okay, if you see the driveway to the east of that, go east, that's west, there you go. The driveway goes in between them two buildings. It goes, yep, you're on the right path, goes straight back to the north, and then along them trees, my property goes to the highway. John and Jeannie Noah live right there in that property that's sectioned off from mine.
Okay, so the acreage is actually...
Acreage is not mine.
Okay, and the line follows generally that
From
driveway.
that driveway up to the north, and then on the north side of the trees, it goes back to the east.
Okay, so that westernmost structure is on your property.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then there's another structure, it appears, northwest corner of that acreage.
That is a television tower.
You say television tower?
Yes, sir. And there's a tower there, and that's their little, communication building or whatever you want to call it.
Does that structure have guy wires?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and which direction do those extend and how far?
Oh, I suppose they stand out probably 300 feet each direction, and there's three. There's one to the northeast, there's one to the south side, and there's one to the northwest.
Okay, so for the one that goes to the northwest, does it extend the length of that shadow, or would it be further?
I would say about a quarter of the way. Right? Yeah, a little past that, maybe.
Okay. Okay, so it doesn't touch the red shaded area, but it's well into that. I think you described that as pasture.
Yes, that is a pasture, and then there's farm ground all the way around the pasture.
Okay, thank you. Can you describe any drainage tiles or underground installations such as water lines, natural gas, telecommunications, etc.?
Everything goes down through the ditches that I'm aware of, and there is drainage tile throughout the farm in the shaded area. As far as where exactly there are, I have no idea. My tenant, he always takes care of that section of it. If there's a problem, he digs it up and has it taken care of.
The drainage tile, is that older tile? You said you don't exactly know where it's at right now, but do you know the diameter and the depth?
That I could not tell you. I know it is, there's some clay tile in there, and there's some, what do you call that, black plastic tile.
The TV tower, does that have an easement attached to it?
Yes, it does. I don't have any of that information in front of me right at the moment.
Okay. Was that, did that exist when you purchased the property?
Yes, sir, it did.
Okay. Any streams or bodies of water or other noteworthy terrain features that we can't really see on a flat map?
No, but to the west of that, it's kind of a wet area, and that's where a lot of the tile is tiled. And it kind of is on a hill all in all, the whole farm.
So there doesn't appear to be timber. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought.
Okay, in the pasture area, it is more so like a big valley, and that's why it's still a pasture and not tilled.
Okay, so the pasture would be the bottom of the valley then? Is that?
Yes, more or less, yes.
And would the valley run north to south, east to west, roughly?
East to west, and then curves to the south.
Okay, thank you. And there does not appear to be trees or.
No.
Okay, thank there any other features or conditions that might not be readily apparent and that might affect the proposed project?
As far as land, that's the only issue. But as far as my personal use of my own land, there's plenty. I mean, if I decide to go along with my plan and you go through with your line, that affects me. That affects me on where I could put a house, if I'd even want to put a house. The danger of this line for my neighbor right there, which is probably maybe 3,000 feet away, if that, to the east, and then there is a house to the west there too. Is that going to affect them? And as far as I've understood, as far as if there is a spill, they've got to come all the way, or eruption or leak or whatever, they have to come all the way out of Sioux City, Iowa, which is 120 some miles away to even do anything. So here's the thing. What happens to them poor people that actually live there right now? And right across the road from John and Jeannie's is another home place. So it's affecting a lot of people other than myself.
Okay, you mentioned that you had a tenant. In terms of crop damage, tile, any type of expenses on the property, do you have a formal or informal agreement with that tenant?
Basically, it's a word by word of mouth. If there's an issue, he takes care of it. Then we, change it up in between the two of us. I mean, yes, I cash run it out to him, and that's just kind of word of mouth of how it's done. So, basically, he would probably end up receiving, if it went through, he'd be receiving the majority of the loss.
Of the crop loss?
Of the crop loss, yes.
Okay. I know you touched on this, but I want to make sure you get a chance to articulate everything that you wanted to today. Can you describe any specific concerns you may have and any recommendation you have for the board to address your concerns?
Yeah, not go with pipeline, because there's other ways to get rid of CO2 other than pumping it through a pipeline someplace else. They've built like greenhouses and stuff, and right next to ethanol plants, pump the gases into there, which CO2 is actually food for the crops. So if we capture all the CO2, take it away from the air, what's the crops going to do? Is the yield going to go down? All these factors have never been structurally stated and shown to what it's going to do the environment and all. There is like creeks and stuff just south of me. So is that if there's ever what's that going to do to the creeks and stuff just south of me? If there's ever a rupture down there too.
Thank you. Do you recommend an alternative route for the proposed line? And if so, could you describe that theoretical route and its advantages or disadvantages?
Across my property, I can't see that it would have any just facts of moving it one way or the other, because you're either going to move it closer to one house or the other that previously exists. The deal of the pasture, I've asked Summit all the way along, told them that